I can't believe it. And what's amazing is that our participants have like not gone down at all. Like everybody is glued to the Zoom because of all this great information. So thank you, you all. And our next speaker is my friend Jeanette Anderson, who lives in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. Love it there. That is horse country. It is wine country. It is one of the most beautiful places in the world. She is the mother to 2 grown daughters. She is the co-founder of our amazing Nature Direct line, which is 13 years old now and based in Brisbane, Australia. Jeanette is our global brand ambassador for Nature Direct. She's been a leader in network marketing for over 30 years. What I love about Jeanette is that she is a believer in the strength and leadership of women. She created her company in hopes that it gave women choice to stay home if they wanted to, choice to contribute to their family finances, choice to work with people they love. She will tell you that she is blessed to be in partnership with her husband, Gary, who has supported her and been by her side from day one and is a huge part of her success. I love that. Jeanette's winning formula is that she's more excited about the success of the women on her team than her own success. She's a true servant leader. And she believes that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. She knows that the way to transform the world is by lifting up women from poverty through entrepreneurialism. And I welcome and bow down to Jeanette. Here's the thing, you guys. Jeanette is going last because it is 5 a.m. in Melbourne. So she is wide-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 a.m. And I know that you're probably not the only one awake in your household. So thank you, Gary, for loving and supporting your wife so much. And Jeanette, another thing that I want to tell you is from a secret admirer. I said, what do you love about Jeanette? And she said, this is from Lisa Grossman. Lisa Grossman said, what I love about Jeanette is she is the Betty Crocker of network marketing. Whether she makes $5 or $50,000, she's the same person. So that comes from Lisa Grossman, and that really says a lot about who you are, Jeanette.
Oh, thank you. That's fantastic. Oh, that's so special. Thank you, everybody, for having me on the call today. Not everybody's up, so I'm going to try and be as quiet as I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We can.
Great, thank you. You know, it goes without saying that 2020 has been a really tough year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. In fact, I call it the year of the pivot. In fact, I think I've pivoted so much that I get dizzy. Things have just changed all the time. I've never been faced with anything like this before. All the old expectations, the old training, the old techniques, everything we ever knew before has completely changed. So it was probably March this year when it was just a whirlwind of change that I really then thought to myself, you've just got to step up, for goodness sake. Stop making excuses. I found myself talking myself out of things before I even left the front door. I had 2 families that were dependent on me. My family and Neil Reed's family, we're business partners. So I really needed to find a new way of connecting with customers and really developing my business. And I had to really pivot fast. So I guess enter the online world, which is what many of us have also done. But I've got to thank Paul Croto and Cheryl Morley. I mean, I do not know what I would have done without the development of the health coaching program. It's just fantastic. So I've got to give them a clap, seriously, before I forget. It's been a great tour. I've already been with the program for about a year or so, but I love the fact that it's given me a chance to really connect with people at a very, very deep and personal level. So what's been really hard for us, though, is that we've been through in Melbourne one of the toughest lockdowns. In fact, I think it is the toughest lockdown in the world since July 1. We've only been permitted to drive within 5K. You're only allowed to leave home for 4 things. shopping for food and essential services, care and caregiving, daily exercise of 1 hour. And if you could work from home, you had to work from home. That was it. We have to wear a mask at all times. That's mandatory. It's law in the state. You must socially distance and use hand sanitizer all the time, so your hands start to get yucky. And you are not permitted to have anyone in your home, not even your family, and no hugs. So it's been really, really tough. I mean, it's hard for me because our daughter lives in San Diego, but at the same time, I've got one living in Melbourne. I couldn't even see her. All I can say is thank goodness for Zoom and thank goodness for the post office. I'd like to describe the feeling that that catapulted me really into this industry three decades ago. I actually feel like I've been where we are now all those years ago. There's so many parallels. 1990, for those of you who can think back that far, was a very tough year for all of us. And Gary and I were certainly no exception. I was a stay-at-home mum with 2 little girls, a baby and a 3-year-old. Our mortgage interest rate was 19%, and our monthly repayment had gone up to $1,975 a month. The company that Gary was working for went broke. He turned up to work one day, they weren't there. He started working nights and weekends at a surf and ski shop, servicing skis and doing whatever he could to actually get extra money. Of course, we said goodbye to the company car, which is really awful, I've got to say, because then we went down to 1 car. I actually felt really, really overwhelmed, and I really catastrophized every night, particularly at 3 a.m. Can anybody relate to that? Because that's what happens to me. So what they do say, though, is a problem shared is a problem halved. And I had lunch with my friend Lucy, and over a wine or two, and she said to me, you should do what I'm doing. I've started this little party plan thing, selling pottery. Okay, well, she said, yeah, it's really great. She said, I set up at people's homes and I talk about the pottery and people place orders, and then I'm making about $100, $150 for a Saturday afternoon's work. I went, and she said, I'm thinking of doing Sunday too, and maybe I could squeeze a night in the week. I thought, wow, even $100 a week would make a big difference to what we're doing. But that is very much an Australian term. So if you don't know what it means, I'll explain later sometime. So that night, 3 a.m. came into my mind again, an idea, and I'd actually booked a toy party for educational toys. I wanted free products for my girls, and they offered dollars. And I thought to myself, you know what? I could have got the free stuff, but maybe I'll become a demonstrator. I can get free stuff and earn some money as well. Now, does that sound familiar to anybody? I rang my consultant, Debbie, and I said to her, Debbie, I want to cancel my party. In fact, Debbie's on this call now, so she'll remember this. And I think I want to sell this stuff too. How do I get started? Now, don't we all wish that would happen? It just doesn't. But I've got to say, Deb didn't actually plant the seed. Somebody else did. And what happened, I happened to be in what they call the looking zone, and I could do a complete training on the looking zone. It's a really interesting theory around sales and what happens to people's psyche in their lives. So I dressed in my Sunday best and I went for an interview. You had to drive across town, and I came home with a little briefcase and with all the information I needed, including how much it cost. And in fact, it actually was going to cost me $179. So I thought, right, now that was a lot of money. Remember, this was 1990. So anyway, next day I packed my girls into the stroller and I walked down to our local shopping centre, and I decided to take the money out of our account and buy this kit and get started. And I did that, except that the card declined. And to this day, on my hand on heart, there's not a moment when I don't tap that credit card or my debit card and not have that feeling. It's almost like PTSD around credit cards. So I had $3 in my purse, and so I walked next door to the bakery and bought my girls 2 sugar donuts. And those sugar donuts, they were pretty happy munching away on these unhealthy sugar donuts. And I got home and I rang my mum and said, Mum, I really need to borrow $179. I want to join this party plan company. And she came up with every negative thing you can imagine. Oh, you don't understand it. Auntie Betty's next door neighbour's girlfriend, she did Bessemer, and she lost all this money. And so all the negative things that you can imagine. So I said, Mum, I really, really want to stay home with my girls. It took us a long time to have our girls. So they were very precious, and I just felt very strongly about wanting to be home and be part of their lives. And I said, look, I reckon I can do this. You know, Gary can look after them at night. I can go out and work at night. I can work weekends. She loaned me the money. You know, in my first year, this is what happened. We only had one car. Gary would rush home from work, and he would actually help me pack my kit into the car, take the car seats out. It was just this whole big manic exercise in the driveway. And then my deliveries, which I had to do on the way. I did 3 to 5 presentations a week, sometimes upwards of 10 presentations a week. Now, if this is sounding familiar, that it's pretty familiar for many of you. Sometimes I'd do a record break a week, and in those weeks we would do upwards of 20 parties. So that was a lot. I drove to weekly training, taking my kids with me. I went to the monthly training events and learning. I earned my 20% commission, and I was booking party presentations and signing people up who wanted to do what I did. I then became a team leader. I broke the company's sales record, ended up in our Victoria newspaper, and sold over $100,000 worth of toys. So this little side thing. I earned my first paid overseas trip to Hawaii with Gary and I, which is pretty exciting. I earned in that time though, in that company, I earned every overseas incentive trip, every leadership program. I reached the rank of Emerald Executive Leader. So now, that was then 2004. I started with a network marketing company, and I had the amazing Lisa Grossman as my upline with Curtis Broom, who are personal friends of mine. My job was to actually build a team throughout Southeast Asia and Australasia. So alongside of my corporate sales and training role, I was to build a team. And I did that, and I had over 20,000 people in my global team, starting from just myself and 2 people. It was a binary plan. Now, in 2007, Neil Reid, now my business partner, and we decided to start Nature Direct for all kinds of other things. So it was an exciting opportunity. So together with Carla Hart, we crafted and designed a company that was really designed around the distributor. We wanted to make it all about the success of the distributor. Now, these years came with rewards, recognition, priceless personal development, and I've been very honoured and privileged to earn so many rewards. There's cash, jewellery, overseas incentives, 3 nominations for the National Business Women's Awards. I featured in Business Review Weekly, an Australian and Asian publication, as a co-founder of an emerging business that was actually focused on a new global, now this is really weird, new global trend of health and wellness and natural clean living. Now, our girls at that time were going through kindergarten then, 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. Then they started primary school, then high school. And for 7 of those years, I actually taught Christian education at 2 primary schools. And I really loved doing that because I could do that sort of thing while I was at home with my girls. And I would never have had that opportunity to give back to my community if it hadn't been for if I had been in an 8 to 6 job, I guess. I was on a local synod committee, you name it, was pretty involved. Then my girls, university followed with my girls, our girls with degrees and costly postgrad programs. Now, of course, as parents, we know that doesn't end there. We actually enjoyed all sorts of fabulous bonuses and incentives with our girls and international holidays. They had exchange programs in New Zealand and Europe and Asia. Stephanie studied at the Sorbonne for a term. Kristen spent a term in Prato, which is just outside of Florence. I mean, gosh, wouldn't everybody want to do that? But these, they were very rewarding and satisfying, of course, but they also came with responsibilities, and they sort of slapped me around the head a few times. So keep in mind that my why I started has always been rock solid. I wanted to be home and be part of my girls' lives. And whilst I no longer need to be at home with my girls, my family's health and happiness really remains paramount to me. So I've strived many times, often failing, to plan my time so that I could fulfill responsibilities around myself, my family, and most especially my business. And An example I'm going to share with you is school holidays. Now, in Australia, we have 4 terms. So we have 10 weeks and then generally 2 or 3 weeks off break. Now, this sounds amazing, particularly as a parent. However, it also comes with a break in momentum. And I really noticed that was happening with me as well. So every year, for example, and I'll just use this as an example, at the 30th of June, we ended our incentive year, our financial year, everything happened. And it also coincided with 2 weeks school holidays, which was just a pain in the neck. I mean, you've got no idea. So what would happen though is I'd be manically trying to get work. I'd be in my my kitchen family area on the phone, which of course back then was connected to the wall. And so I then decided I've got to do something else. So what we decided to do was actually work out the first week I would book my girls into an after school, a school holiday program, which they loved. And then I would actually then go and work through work the end of the year, end of the month, which is a big thing. End of the month is always a big thing in every sales business. And then the next week we'd have a family holiday at a farm. It was great. So we did that every year and they absolutely loved it. So what I've come to know though is there are some really strong responsibilities around leadership. And a leader is not just when you've got people in your team. You are a leader from the moment you start with your own business. Everybody's watching you. So I've written down some really key, what I believe to be key factors. You have to constantly communicate the vision. And I know providing a clear vision of looking beyond the ambiguity and the challenges of today and really offers some people a better view of what can happen for them as well. You need to learn to sell the industry. And if you're unsure what to say, then speak to your upline. Now, your family and in particular and your team need to be sold the vision all the time. Now, I believe in this industry and I believe everything it offers. In the field, I've earned incredible incomes over the years, and it's interesting, Lisa Grossman talking about that Betty Crocker moment, because sometimes I look at people and thinking, well, I think I just earned $1.62 from that particular person's sales in the month. So, but I tell you what, I'm really proud to be part of a legacy company like Longevity. You know, I've watched so many trendy companies come and go. They rise with spectacular growth, and then they have this huge rapid decline, and then they just disappear. I always remember Lisa saying to me, stay the course and you'll just succeed. Now, the number one thing, you need to lead by example. It's true for all aspects of leadership. I mean, if I don't participate in programs and promotions, how on earth do I expect my team to do the same? It's a bit like the health coaching program. I would love to be in the Outer Banks with everybody, but I'm not going to be able to go. But that's the way it is. I'm disappointed, it's sad, but don't worry. I'm a big girl. I'll get on with it. You know, a young mentor of mine, a guy called Marcus Schubert, gave me some strong advice. Your team will do what you do, and they will also do what you don't do. Now, this is a really strong lesson. So get in there and go for it. This was Marcus. You need to be a product of the product. And when in doubt, revisit the onboarding program and that'll resell you as well. You need to understand that we're in the sales business. Louise was right. You need to focus on sales every single day. It's how we get paid. It's how our whole business works. You know, listen and learn how not to take rejection personally. Your upline will guide you through the process and practice rejection. I practiced rejection with Lisa Grossman and Curtis Broom in airports all around the world, and all the time she'd say to me, marry the process, divorce the outcome. You know, ensure long-term success by achieving short-term goals. The 300 Club is a perfect example. You know, it's a great program that's designed to reward and recognise consistency. Carla Hart and I have been drumming that in for years at every level. You know, be part of the leader. Don't be this leader that basically, I hear it now ringing in so many people's heads, and I've often said that to me. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm not part of that. I already know all that. Oh, I know the comp plan. Yeah, right. Okay. I'm sure you do. set boundaries. And I'm not going to outline those, but it's important to have, if it's important to have date night on a Thursday night, well, just do it and turn the phone off. That's a really hard thing, by the way. Be consistent. Even simple things like your daily routine, your exercise routine, your morning rituals, your follow-up time, your prospecting time. I am really, really strong on that, and I just do the same thing all the time. I'm very predictable. Everybody knows on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays and Saturday morning I do my exercise program. Everybody knows on Wednesdays I do my Pilates. That's the way it works. You need to plug into this system. Plug in. Now, what does that mean? I plug into Louise every day. She's my upline, so I speak to her every day, and she supports me, guides me, tells me when to pull my head in and all sorts of other things. But I know how important that is. So I really believe that plugging into your upline is essential. They cannot ring their entire downline. So you need to be the one that picks up the phone and says, hey, I'm just checking in. I did this yesterday. What do you think? How can I tweak it? It doesn't, these days with our global communications, we can do this kind of connection. Now I'm going to use 3 ways as an example. You need to use this technique often. It really works. A guy called Dan Caddo actually spent a lot of time he's Canadian, telling me, sitting there and not sitting there, but virtually. Marcus as well used to sit there behind me, listening to my calls and poking me and saying, hey, listen, you need to do this. Stop. Don't say. Don't speak. Do this. So I had really strong coaching and guide and training around that. So this is when a 3-way comes in handy. When you hear from a team member that they've achieved a goal, whatever the size, pick up the phone. Hey, listen, I know Louise is going to want to hear that. When you want another team member to hear an amazing story, engage people that way. When you want to demonstrate that there is a team supporting a new distributor, we are part of a team, and they need to see that there's a support structure around them, so that you're not the only one with all the answers. And in fact, I often feel inspired when I hear somebody's story, and I always get resold myself. Remember, my job is not to motivate others. My job is to stop others from demotivating me. That's my job. Now, when your prospect has questions, I had this conversation with a couple of people the other day. Don't be the one that answers all the questions. Oh, it's so tempting. By doing this, you'll be setting yourself up as an expert who knows all the answers. It's totally unduplicable. Don't do it. It's crazy. You need to be persistent. There's nothing worse than a leader that goes after the shiny object syndrome. Oh my gosh, look at that company. Oh my gosh, look at that new training program. Oh, this is going to work. There's a rule of 10,000 in this business. Again, Lisa, Marcus, and various people have spent time with me around this one. When you're earning $10,000 a month or have done 10,000 hours, then you have the right to change something. Be bold. Take risks. Innovation doesn't take place, doesn't work without risk. So I'm about to embark on a program to get some new business up in Sydney, and it's really scary. I'm thinking, what if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll try something else. Be willing to go that extra mile for people and send out a clear message. It sends out a clear message to everybody that we're here to win. We're not just here to participate. Don't be the person getting ready to get ready. Our industry is filled with people like that, and it's more frustrating for them than it is for us. Be positive and optimistic. Be the glass half full. I mean, this is not full, but I've got that much left. And enter discussion. I always go, what would Alex Tice do? Inevitably, it leads to taking the heat out of the moment, and always end up bowing to the grace and goodwill of the amazing Alex Tyson. So, reward your team. Recognition is not expensive. You need to rewarding someone for a sales goal or a task achieved. It's simple. It's inexpensive, as I said. It can be something as simple as an email. Get better at handwritten notes. It's really important. Reward the person who comes up with great solutions. We are not the purveyor of all good ideas. In fact, even a bad idea is the beginning. It starts the conversation. Inspire people by setting an example. How do you do that? You do the work. That's what you do. You do the work. The effort will not go unnoticed. as the proverb states, you will reap what you sow, and people always look up to the hardest worker in the room. Hard work never, ever flies under the radar. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this with me today, and I'm really glad to have the opportunity. So I know that Denise has been communicating by text, and I love my beautiful community I've got in the US, and I think of you all the time, and I'm over here in lockdown Melbourne.
You are amazing. You probably weren't able to see the chat that was happening while you were speaking, but they're like, oh my God, it's 5 a.m. Look at all that energy. Then they're like, I bet everybody in the house is awake now.
Not yet, but I'm not normally like this in the evening. I'm a bit of a go to bed at 9 o'clock girl, but mornings are my thing. So there you go.
Well, we can tell, and we can also tell the 30 years of experience that you've had in the profession. It shines through, and I mean, so many great nuggets from you. One of them I want to go back to, because I think it's so important for everybody to hear, and that is that Longevity is a legacy company. You have hitched your wagon to the right company, and we will be in business for the long haul. This is about, building a business not only for yourself, but for your family and for your family's family after that. And I think that's really important. You have to stay the course. You have to lead by example. And, and I hear this all the time, like, your team is like your kids. They will do what you do. They often won't do what you say, right? So be consistent, have boundaries, which is also going back to what Yolanda said, know your self-worth. Jeanette, thank you. You are, I love these Zoom meetings. We couldn't do this without Zoom and being able to see our family all over the world. So thank you for sharing so many great, you guys, here's the thing. I forgot to tell you this. Michelle Wallach has sent me some amazing gifts to give away. And so what I'm gonna do is, if you've been on this whole time for the 4 hours, what I want you to do is take the lineup, the 10 leaders, write down one tidbit that you got from all 10 leaders, and you can email it to me, Marianne, if you want to put my email up. That'll save you from getting all of them. You write 10 tidbits that you got from these top women leaders today. We will send you out a little something for participating. I want to say thank you to Pamela and Marianne and to Lanny for helping me out. I love you women. You're there all the time, and we couldn't do this without you. And I so appreciate all of you for making this happen. And I'm a little choked up because, let's see, we still have about 150 people on here. And, I just want to tell you that, like I said at the beginning, like, we all had wobbly starts, and we've all gotten to where we're at now only through our failures, and I just wish we could repackage that into a different word, but it's time to take your training wheels off. Take your training wheels off, let it rip, let your hair fly. The world is waiting for you to unleash your greatness. You playing it small serves no one, and it especially does not serve yourself. And you are worthy of living your own truth out loud and big and proud. You get to want more. You get to be more. You can have it. Those dreams, no matter how big and audacious they are, those dreams are yours. you can have those dreams. You get to get it all, right? And if you're gonna err on the side of audacity, go out and be loud and proud in the world. People are looking for you. Like I said at the beginning, more now than ever, people are looking for answers. So I leave you with this one little big question, and that is, what are you going to do to take your own breath away? I love you all. I love that we had men on here too. And of course, this is not a women's training. It is a human being training, because that's what we do. And I love this company. I love the generosity of all these leaders. Thank you. I love you. Email me what you got from all 10 speakers, and we will do this again. This is not a one-time trick pony here. We're going to keep doing this. So I love you. Happy Saturday, everybody. Let's unmute the lines. Love you. Love you.
Bye.
Love
Thank you so much.
Guys, everybody have a blessed day.
Bye, ladies.
Denise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Good
night.
night,
Good night.
Denise.
Like, share, email back up
Thank you,
again.
Denise, very much.
Can we get the email
Thank you, everybody.
again?
Thank you,
Denise,
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
being
you.
wonderful woman in longevity. Thank you. We love you.
Thank
I'm in
you.
California also.